So I have a situation. We'll look at some mission statements and objectives. Feel free to pipe in anytime. So the situation that I'm going to play with here.
I can type. Oh, okay.
Is we started this before is math, computer science,
Capture control.
instructors and courses. So I'm going to come up with a mission statement for this situation. And then we'll work on some objectives, and then we'll try to clarify, see where it goes from there. So the main mission here, so this is the statement, is to collect information on instructors and courses for better scheduling. Now, as a math teacher, I have a habit of making things way too short and succinct. And we do want mission statements to be short and succinct, but we also want other people to be able to understand them. So they have to make sense to the developer and then anybody else that's working with the database. We also want to avoid being too specific in the mission statement. So that's what the objectives are about. So hopefully this is descriptive enough and short enough that anyone involved understands what I'm doing. Do you have any questions about my statement so far?
Collect information on infrastructures and courses for better scheduling.
Instructors, so teachers.
Instructors, sorry. Okay.
All right.
No question.
Some objectives. Okay. So, so I want to be able to clearly list courses an instructor has taught recently.
Grabbing a piece of paper myself. There we are. Clearly list courses on instructor. An instructor has
I want to be able to list all courses for a specific term. These aren't necessarily in any particular order. I'm just writing down some things that are needed for this collection of data. And I want to be able to balance course load by year for instructors. And in there, I want to minimize multiple different courses.
balance course load by year for instructors. Minimize multiple different courses. Okay. So there's basically like a limit.
Yes. So an instructor can only teach so many courses in a quarter, and we want things balanced so that we don't want one instructor teaching 5 different courses and another instructor only teaching the same course 5 times.
So overall, what we're trying to do is better manage course load over many instructors.
Yep.
Got it.
And so we could, I mean, we might even want to break this second one out as a different one. I don't think I can easily pull that out, so I'm just going to put a plus there. So that might even be considered a separate objective. So it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different objectives for this. So, excuse me. So with any database, that's one thing we want to do. We need to get some clear, and we're going to have to ask lots of questions when we're doing that because we're not necessarily going to be familiar with the business, the data. But a start is trying to get an idea. What's the point? And make it as clear to the developer as it is to the individuals involved.
Okay.
All right, so you might say from here, we might say, well, can you show me some examples of the data that you're collecting? So it's rare that you're going to walk into a situation where there's no data, right? So they'll have something even if they don't have an existing database. So I can say, oh yeah, I got this Excel spreadsheet, so let me share that. Let's see, how do I share again over here? Share. And where's that Excel spreadsheet? Huh, I thought it was here. Where did I put you? There you are. Why don't you want to share? Oh, there it is. Okay. It's just a little slow to recognize it. All right, do you see a crazy sheet of all kinds of data? I'm going to blow it up so it's more readable. Okay, so for me, I'm looking to collect information in the first column on whether it's math or computer science.
Okay.
We've got instructors at different campuses: Pendleton, Milton Freewater, Hermiston, Baker, Boardman.
Screen capture.
I have a term that it's in. Now there's also a term year which is missing from this sheet. All right, so this is fall 2014. So that's something that's not in here at the moment that needs to be. I've got a course number, Math 25 versus Math 111, excuse me, versus like CS 198 or 122. Then there's the different sections of each course because sometimes there's multiple Math 111s, so we have to distinguish those by sections. Helps to make them more unique and recognizable for students. I've got a kind of an arbitrary ID assigned to them here. Courses have a title, like elementary algebra. This title is appended with the start date and end date for the course, how many credits it's worth, and we can talk later about whether these fields are appropriate or not, but we have days that it's taught, start date, end date, start time, end time, the room it's in, which teacher. Now, I rarely look at tuition, but I have that's something I might want access to. Fees. I always want to know enrollment whenever possible. And then we also have limits on enrollment. So this is what my current spreadsheet has. And then I have a bunch of other fields that the Office of Instruction uses that I don't, so I could really just get rid of those, and it wouldn't matter to me. So those aren't really necessary. So I have all this data here that I need to work with. Any comments on the current data?
No, not really. It looks very familiar. Mentioned it looks like the drop reports from eCompanion, except you have differences. You have the campus, and instead of instructor, it would be student. But a lot of the information is the same.
Yeah. So this is, a table is a database. This one isn't a very efficient one. It's got a lot of redundancy in it. Right, so the Baker County is written all over the place, as is Hermiston, Mountain Freewater.
Right.
It says fall all over the place here. I wouldn't need to store that, how many times. So I have a pretty small database. There's only 91 entries here, or 90 entries. The course title is listed repeatedly. And then I've got some issues with multi-part data. Like here are credits 4/44T. Days TUTH, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So those things might need to be addressed later. But this is just the kind of data that I need to play with.
Okay.
So that's all I have for now. So, if this were another situation, we might ask, well, are there other spreadsheets that you collect information on? And I could say, well, yeah, I have more detailed information about each course, like a description, what textbooks it uses, whether it has an exit exam or not. As far as instructors, I have instructor contact information, where's their office, email, phone number, things like that. And then there's also more detailed information about the location of each class. So I do have other spreadsheets with that information in it too.
Were you wanting to go as far as which instructor is closer to the location where the class is being taught, or?
Oh, that's a good point too. We might want to know information on the instructor's proximity to campus. So that might be to add, that might be worth adding to our objectives. So let's find that.
That could save some money.
Yep. Okay, here's my. So let's add another one here. Objectives are to consider.
Might be nice for that student.
As we move along in this process, we could come up with lots of other things, and it's possible to have too many objectives, and so we might want to at some point say, well, what are the most important ones? Let's prioritize. We'll do some now and some later. So consider instructor's proximity to campus, or campuses. Cool. And we'll highlight that sucker. Okay, so we've taken a look at some of the current database. As far as procedures go, things I do with the data, I'll take this database and or this table, and I'll sort it out by campus. I'll sort it out by instructor. I'll sort it out by course. So there are different ways I want to look at the data to try and figure out if I'm using resources correctly, if I have enough of a particular class in a particular place, things like that. And so that's done regularly also. And so later I could list all those different procedures, things I do with the data. And so to kind of start doing that now, let's start thinking about some input forms and output reports I might want. So, forms and reports. Input and output. All right, so one basic form / report I'm going to need would be course information.
Okay.
You see the spreadsheet.
Oh shit, I forgot to change my view. Thank you, Devin. So Google Hangouts is not happy with my multi-monitor system here. I usually like to share the whole screen, but it wants to view both screens at once. So I got to remember which application I'm supposed to share. So feel free to speak up if I'm sharing the wrong screen. Okay. So forms and reports, input and output, course information. So what I'm going to need, I'll need a course number. I'll need a course name. I'll need a description, kind of a one-paragraph summary of the course. I want to know the credits. Let's see, what else do I want to know about the course? Those are the main things. So examples of the information in there would be, for example, Math 111, college algebra, blah, blah, blah. It's 5 credits. CS 120, concepts of computers, blah, blah, blah. 4 credits. Let's see. I'm also going to want instructor information. And so for instructor, I'm going to want a name. I'm going to want an office. I'm going to want phone and email. Main campus. Let's say that's an example there would be like Gary Parker, office 109, phone number, email, campus, so on. Let's see, what else do I need? I want to be able to assign courses for a form. So for example there, I'm going to want to know the course number. I'm going to want to know the course, let's see, section. So I'm just going to minimize this a little bit. I want to know the instructor's name. And I'm probably going to want to know a room to put it in. Along with the room comes a campus, possibly a building. So example would be Math 111. Let's say it's section 1. Instructors G. Parker. In E101. Pendleton. So those are all input kind of forms.
So the course section is the one. Is that a 1 there, or?
That's a 1, yeah.
Sometimes can there nothing be in there,
or? There has to be a section.
Okay.
Once it's assigned.
Okay.
So I'll need to be able to pick from a list of courses to assign to an instructor or vice versa. Given a course, I want to pick a list of instructors to work with,
Okay.
to assign to it. Now, ultimately, I'd like to have a list of which courses different instructors are approved to teach. But let's say that's something for a later date. Because there's
Okay.
all kinds of ideas that could come up, and then the project can just get too big. And so sometimes we might want to warn about that. So let's say I've been warned. Don't do that yet. We'll work on that later. We'll make a wish list.
So it's best to say create a base implementation, then build upon that as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could prioritize what are we going to do now, what are we going to implement later.
Right. Just keep that in mind,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Kind of note to myself there.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to start writing down some reports. So that's I was considering input, the forms. For reports, my objectives summarize my reports pretty well. Let's just read list. I want to be able to list courses taught by an instructor. Over multiple terms. So with that in mind, I'm going to back up a page. When I'm assigning courses, the course number, course section, that's all for a given term. So I'm going to try and squeeze term in here. So that might be something like winter 2015. And
Sorry
so
about that. I got distracted by that button. It was covering all the chat windows.
All right, so let's see, list courses taught by an instructor over multiple terms. And so just, in this report, I'm considering, see the different courses, multiple terms. So I might want to calculate here like total credits taught. Number of sections taught. I think that's it for now for that report. I want to also be able to list courses and instructors for a given term. And for a given year. And I should say academic year. Let's see, in addition to spacing out over time, I'm also going to look at that by campus. So those are the main reports that I use regularly.
Okay.
So let's see if we can make a list of the kinds of things I need to collect information for based on my mission statement and objectives, my current spreadsheets, and the forms and reports I've listed so far.
Okay.
So I'm going to start a new page for that. So this is where we talk about doing that flat list of attributes we want. And we're not even going to worry about whether the thing I'm collecting is, we think now it's a table or it's a field in that table. We're just kind of listing things up. Later we'll worry about more carefully moving things around and splitting things up.
Okay.
So we're going to just develop a flat list of attributes. And then we'll be about out of time after we do this. So let's see, flat list of attributes. We've got instructors. And for instructors, we're going to have a name. We're going to have a phone. We're going to have an email. We're going to have an office. Let's say there's even a campus, which I think is implicit in the office, but we'll list it. What else do we need to know about instructors?
Name, phone, email, office, campus. We're leaving out location for now. Name, phone, office, email.
So the campus and office are the location for the instructor.
Room number?
That's what I was thinking about for office.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The office number. Maybe it could be more specific. Office number.
That works.
And campus here, I mean main campus. So we could specify that. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? We have courses. And courses have a number. For example, like CS 120 is the number. So we're using the number in a very loose way because it has letters in it. Course has a name. Course has a description.
Credits.
Now it may be implicit in the number like CS versus MTH for math, but we might want to consider a course has a department.
Should we add the instructor to the department as well,
or a subject? And an instructor too does have a department. Yeah. Let's see what else. Course has credits. Course has prerequisites. What else does a course have? Let's take a peek at that spreadsheet again. Let's see, I'm going to go here and reshare my desktop. Hello. And there's the spreadsheet. Let's see. Now we might say a course has a section, but that's only after it's assigned. So that's a transient property of a course, so we're not going to list that. It's got credits, days and times, and dates. That's all when it's assigned. I think we got everything we need. Oh, a course has an enrollment limit. That's right.
Enrollment limit. Enrollment limit.
Okay, that's all I can think of for campuses right now, or for courses right now. So it's the other information we need. Well, I guess we do need to write it down. Ultimately, a course does need a section number.
And that was like 120, 195, 275, etc.
No, so a section number would be like, for example, there's CS 120-01, and there's CS
Right.
120-02.
-06 for online.
6 for online, right?
Okay.
So the section number here is this guy.
The instructors are assigned to
So
sections too.
yeah, so when it's instructors assigned to a section of a course, not a course without a section. So that's important. The section is going to have meeting days. Section's going to have meeting times. And meeting rooms.
Where did the chat go?
Along with a meeting room comes the meeting campus. And meeting rooms and campuses have buildings, so I guess we could put that in here. And we're kind of naturally grouping these things, and we may have to ungroup them later, but we're just kind of think of every piece of information we want to know about. All right, what else do we want to know about? Missing anything?
Room size limit. That tends to be a problem in Morrill Hall.
Yeah, there is a yeah, we should write that down. Room size, oops, that's not a Z yet. Size limit. Okay. Let's look back at some of our other things. Oh, okay, so we have the year and term it's taught in. We'll need to put that in. So let's go up here. So we have a term name. That's something like fall, winter, etc. We have a term year for when it's taught. What else are we missing?
Academic year, term, campus. Let's see. Courses, campus.
Did we write down credits yet for a course? Yeah, we wrote down credits.
Yeah.
Let's look at our objectives. We have credits, so we can talk about course load. We have course names and instructor names, so we can talk about balancing loads. Okay, so I think we have all the fields we need for those objectives. Let's take a look at that spreadsheet one more time, make sure we're not missing anything from that. And then that's going to be about it from today, and we'll talk about homework. Let's see, share, reshare, spreadsheet. Okay, so we've got So heading is kind of our department / subject. We've got campus. We've got terms and course numbers, section numbers. We're not worried about IDs yet.
Title, course name.
Course name, yeah, we got that
You
covered.
got that.
Yeah. Credits, we've got.
Start
Now,
time.
these are hours next to the credits, so we should write that down. Course hours. We've got days. We don't have dates. So hours, dates, tuition, fees, enrollment. Okay, we have a few more things to list.
Start date, course number.
Let's see, let's switch back.
Course numbers, course ID. Section number. Gone.
Whoa. Here we go, share. Alright, so let's see, a few more things we need, and we're done with working on this for today. We'll pick it up later. I need also course enrollment. Oops, that's supposed to be a C. I need the course start time, or start date, and end date. What else were we saying we were missing? Oh, course hours. How many hours does it need to meet? Usually the same as credits, but not always. You've got days somewhere, right? Yeah, we've got days, we've got time, start date, end date, course hours. I think we finally got everything. Oh, tuition and fees.
Term year.
Okay, so we're going to stop here for today. The next step would be to then start trying to sort these out into tables. Like, we're pretty sure we're going to have an instructor's table and a courses table, but we're going to need some other tables to collect information. And we'll have to start working on relationships and foreign keys.
Okay.
And you know, when we're splitting into tables, we'll have to decide, is any of our fields okay? Are they atomic? You know, do we have any multi-part problems? Do we have any multi-value problems? Do we have any fields that could be calculated based on other fields? Are there any fields that we write down that we think actually should be separate tables? Things like that.
Okay.
Okay, so, Joe.
Gary.
I'm going to stop this recording here, but we're going to stay online together. So,
Right.
hang on just a sec. Let's see, how do I do that? To stop the broadcast.